Tonight, a report on a pedestrian hit by a car in Moses Lake, and a man is accused of leading police on a pursuit twice in the same night. What's happening in sports, Bob?
Big Bend basketball picks up tournament wins, and Washington State junior forward Josh Hawkinson has been named Pac-12 Player of the Week. Here's a quick glance at our Weather Center forecast.
Well, it looks like as we slide out of 2015, not much happening across the country. Nice traveling conditions for a change. All the details coming on up.
I'm Amber Jenks, and we have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
A Moses Lake man was struck by a car while crossing State Route 17 in Moses Lake. Camilo Ramos, a 58-year-old man, was reportedly crossing SR 17 near North Grave Drive when he was struck by a northbound Mercedes-Benz 240 sedan on Saturday. According to the Washington State Patrol on Monday, Ramos was taken to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake for his injuries. The driver of the Mercedes-Benz, Gabriel Villalobos Lopez, a 30-year-old Warden man, was not hurt. He allegedly left the scene but later returned. The State Patrol issued tickets to Lopez for leaving the scene of a collision and failing to render aid in a collision resulting in an injury to another person. The State Patrol does not know if Ramos was using the crosswalk. He allegedly crossed the highway when Lopez had a green light on SR 17. Ramos was issued a ticket for a crosswalk violation. The annual Sam Scramble returns on Friday in Ephrata, inspired by Samantha Webb, an Ephrata girl who died of cancer at the age of 9. Reporter Jeff Chu has the details.
The 4th annual Sam Scramble is set to hit the streets of Ephrata on Friday to raise money to fight cancer. The New Year's Day event starts at 10:30 a.m. at the Ephrata Recreation Center on Basin Street Southwest at 1st Avenue Southwest. Part foot race, part scavenger hunt, the Sam Scramble is inspired by Samantha Webb, an Ephrata girl who died of cancer at age 9. Organizers said each of the past 3 years, the event has drawn nearly 200 participants and raised more than $27,000 for charities. Proceeds from the 2016 event are going to Cancer Can't, a nonprofit organization committed to improving the lives of oncology patients in Eastern Washington. Based in Spokane, Cancer Can't was founded by Jonathan and Becky Van Kulen, who both grew up in Ephrata. Late registration and check-in for the Sam Scramble starts at 9:30 a.m. Participants walk or run up to 30-point valued locations in any order to answer a series of questions. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Several shots were fired outside a Moses Lake home. Police received multiple reports of shots fired in the 600 block of South Hawthorne Drive at about 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. According to Moses Lake Police on Monday, several spent shell casings were recovered, but officers did not find any damage to any residences. A man reportedly called a family member and said he was the target of the shots fired and was not hurt. According to the Moses Lake Police, he reportedly left his home and went to work before officers arrived. The family member called police to report the shooting. Officers have attempted to contact the man, but he was not found by Monday afternoon. Police suspect 2 people allegedly stole nearly 300 pieces of mail from homes in the Moses Lake area. Officers responded to a report of a mail theft in progress. A pickup truck was reportedly seen pulling away from a mailbox on Paxton Drive, according to Moses Lake Police. Police stopped the truck and could reportedly see mail from several locations inside. 2 people in the truck were allegedly Scott Slinker, a 29-year-old Moses Lake resident, and Marisol Escamilla, a 34-year-old Moses Lake resident. Police claim the 2 were wearing black latex gloves. Officers reportedly recovered 295 pieces of mail from the 78 different addresses in the Moses Lake area. Captain Mike Williams said officers are notifying victims this week. Escamilla was arrested for 20 counts of mail theft and 5 counts of theft. A report was sent to the prosecutor's office seeking charges against Slinker. Now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be back right after this.
When the cold rolls in, it's time to turn on the heater and cozy up with a book. But turning up the heat can mean higher electric bills. And for some families in tough times, that could mean choosing between a warm meal or a warm house. For decades, people like you have extended a hand to help local families in need pay those winter electric bills. Share the warmth this winter to help keep your neighbor warm by giving a little when you pay your Grant PUD bill.
Hi everybody, meteorologist Don Morelli with you here on iFIBER Channel 1 News Weather. Hopefully you enjoyed your Tuesday, your forecast. Brought to you by Barry Motors, one great place to buy and service your car. And as we end 2015, another 36, 48 hours, we'll slide into 2016 with no changes. Still pretty chilly, still a chance of patchy area of ice fog here and there, particularly the overnight hours, early morning hours, although somewhat dry air is trying to come on in. And with this stable air mass, that kind of locks things in place in the lower levels, especially here in the basin, and that means the air stagnation will be getting higher. That means unhealthy air. For those of you with respiratory problems, probably developing more and more as we slide out of the last few days of 2015 into 2016. 27 and 14, the extremes today. No precipitation. 32 and 20, by the way, the extremes. So you can see we're still way below normal with 26 and 14, the extremes in Moses Lake. And again, no significant precipitation. Talk about. Speaking of precipitation, a little snow through Kansas. Looking at a lingering cold front from that big massive storm that moved out of the southern plains through the northeast the past 48 to 72 hours. And still some pretty big storms in the southeast. But let's focus in into our area. See a little disturbance moving into Oregon, well to our south. So high pressure building in right over us, trying to dry us out, finding it a little difficult to erode some of that low-level moisture here in the basin. So that's why we're looking at maybe some patchy low clouds and fog at times the next couple of days. But really from border to border, lots of sunshine should develop. Boy, the mountain tops, lots of blue skies. Inland northwest, a little bit of cloud cover in the mountains, but still not too bad. Still chilly though, lower to mid-20s. And as we zoom into the basin, you can see generally lower to mid-20s in our neck of the woods as well. Partly cloudy with a peak or two of the sun, and again, dry air trying to come in more and more as the next couple of days come in. So the areas of patchy fog and ice fog, I should say, getting less and less as days go on. But the clouds, a little layer of clouds might still hang around at times. So depends how much sunshine we get, depends upon how warm we get the next couple of days. But even if we see sun on the weekend, you can see temperature still pretty chilly as the cold Arctic air remains in place. Sliding through New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, not too bad. Hopefully you have some nice plans on tap because Mother Nature should give you a nice evening. A little snow shower activity possible by the beginning of next week, but still nothing significant on the horizon by any means. We'll keep it here. Sports is coming up next. Have a great night, everybody.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PUD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The new flamethrower cheeseburger now with a $5 lunch. I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Gary, do you remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
Comes with a Sunday now. I can handle it.
You know your body, Gary.
Go flamethrower. Now the DQ $5 lunch comes with the new jalapeno bacon flamethrower cheeseburger, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. This is fan food, not fast food.
The Running Vikes picked up an 87-68 win over Mesa in round 1 of the Fiesta Bowl Junior College Shootout last night. Riker Pierce led 3 Big Bend players with double figures with 22 points. Keyshawn Liggins and J.J. Eli knocked down 17 each. The Running Vikes put this one away early, up 47-31 at the break. Big Bend sharpshooters were on the mark, sinking 52% from the field and 54% from three-point range. The team got a big lift from the bench with 28 points. The Thunderbirds had 3 hit for double figures, led by Devin Sheehy's 14. The Running Vikes match up with Lee College tonight in round 2. Mackenzie Winley drained a game-high 22 points, and Big Bend rolled past Edmonds 63-43 on day 1 of the Skagit Valley Holiday Tournament. The game got off to a slow start offensively, with the Lady Vikings holding a slim 9-7 lead after the first quarter was in the books. A 15-11 Triton second quarter run made it 22-20 Edmonds at the half. Big Bend caught fire in the second half, outscoring Edmonds 43-21 to win going away. The Lady Vikings take on host Skagit Valley in semifinal action tonight. The University of Washington dropped a tough one last night, losing to UC Santa Barbara 83-78. The Huskies got off to a slow start and never recovered, suffering their second loss in 3 games. The Gauchos used a 2-3 zone against the Huskies, forcing them to shoot from the outside. The Dogs converted only 6 of 27 three-point attempts, that is, for a measly 22%. Malik Dime and David Crisp were the leading scorers for the UW with 17 points apiece. Michael Bryson led the way for Santa Barbara with 17. Seattle native Mitch Brew had a nice game for the Gauchos with 11 points and 8 rebounds. The Dogs will look to get back on track when they open Pac-12 play at home against UCLA on Friday. Washington State junior Josh Hawkins has been named Pac-12 Player of the Week. The forward from Shorecrest High School posted 3 consecutive double-doubles as the Cougars competed in the Diamond Head Classic. Hawkinson had 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists in Washington State's win over New Mexico. The big forward leads the conference and is 6th in the nation with 9 double-doubles. Former Big Bend star Brandon Westendorf had 14 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds as Seattle U knocked off UC Davis in overtime. And former Moses Lake Chiefs standout Jordan Luetta recorded 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists in the University of Oregon's win over Seattle U. We'll be back after this.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients, have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
Our spotlight story tonight is about a Washington Department of Corrections program in Moses Lake, teaching convicted felons how to make better choices and stay out of jail. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
For 2 nights a week, A group of convicted felons on probation are in a classroom as part of a Washington Department of Corrections program designed to keep offenders from returning to jail. The program, called Thinking for a Change, was implemented by DOC in 2012, and studies show that the program is successful in helping to reduce recidivism. A small group of offenders in Moses Lake are getting close to completing the program, where they participate in guided discussions and activities in a classroom setting. The program is based on the principle that thinking controls how people act, and that to change the way people act, they have to take control of their thinking. The offenders are taught skills from basic social interaction to problem solving in the classroom, which they can use in their everyday lives to make better decisions. Community Corrections Specialist Jill Farman explains more about how the program can improve the lives of the offenders.
In this class, we have offenders that are involved in the classroom setting, as you've seen today, and we are hoping to change their behaviors and the way that they think by putting them into situations, real-life situations that are occurring in their life that will help them to just recognize some of their behaviors, that the thinking that controls their behaviors and therefore affects their actions. Really, our goal is to reduce recidivism, but we also want them to become more productive within their families, within the communities as a whole, while we're also helping to make the communities safer for everyone.
Farman, along with Community Corrections Officer Steve Clay, facilitate two groups in Moses Lake, which include offenders that are at a high risk to reoffend. Both said they can see the progress among the group's members over the 8-week program. Farman said they see a willingness from the offenders to change, to help each other be successful, and see the positive impacts in their lives outside of the Department of Corrections.
Well, I think one of the major things is that we know that our thinking controls our behavior and our actions. So we just have to really be open to learning more about the way that we're thinking so that we can make better decisions in our everyday life. And this class helps not only our offenders that are enrolled, but helps me and my co-facilitator, Steve, to identify the way that we're thinking and the decisions that we make. And we hope that our offenders that are enrolled in the program are able to use these steps and these skills to make their lives better outside of their involvement in the Department of Corrections.
The two groups of offenders are set to graduate from the program on January 12th in Moses Lake. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back after this.
We are real students, and this really is our college.
My dream will change the outcome of my life.
My college is allowing me to achieve my dream.
My dream is to be a pilot.
My dream is to be a nurse.
Only you can determine your dream. Big Bend will help you get there.
What's your dream?
Experience speed like never before when you connect to Grant PUD's high-speed network. Visit grantpud.org to learn more.
Welcome back. The Columbia Basin Allied Arts is kicking off 2016 with the Missoula Children's Theater's production of Sleeping Beauty. The story tells the classic fairy tale, but with a twist. Auditions to be part of the 60-actor cast are scheduled to take place on Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Wallenstein Theater at Big Bend Community College. Students in kindergarten through grade 12 are encouraged to try out. Selected children are given 5 days and 20 hours of rehearsal time to prepare for the show. Rehearsals take place from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. from January 5th to January 8th. The production has 2 performances on January 9th at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. at the Wallenstein Theater. General admission tickets are $6. For more information, contact Columbia Basin Allied Arts at 509-793-2059. A man allegedly fled from police twice in one night in a stolen car. Prosecutors charge Randall Collier, a 26-year-old Moses Lake resident, in Grant County Superior Court with attempting to elude a pursuing police vehicle and possession of a stolen vehicle. Collier was allegedly driving a Honda Accord when he failed to stop at a stop sign at the intersection of West Broadway Avenue on December 18th. According to court records, when the officer signaled Collier to stop, he allegedly fled until police ended the chase. Roughly an hour later, the officer reportedly spotted the car again and signaled for the car to stop without success. The chase reached speeds of 85 miles per hour, and Collier reportedly lost control of the car and drove off the road into a field. Police claim Collier said he used methamphetamine earlier in the day. 2 women allegedly attacked a woman outside a Moses Lake home and robbed her. According to the Moses Lake police on Monday, a 38-year-old woman claims she was walking on Saturday night with Myrna Magdagalis, a 36-year-old Moses Lake woman, and Delia Vasquez, a 34-year-old woman, when the three walked up to a carport on Highland Drive Northeast. Magdagalis and Vasquez allegedly started punching the woman in the head in the carport. The victim reportedly fell on a couch and tried to protect herself, while Magdagalis allegedly began hitting her with a stick. The victim claims the suspect stole her phone and pulled her off the couch by her hair. Police found the victim on North Stratford Road, and she was taken to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake for her injuries. Magdagalis and Vasquez were arrested for robbery and theft in the 3rd degree. In Northwest News, a convicted robber in Washington was released early by mistake. Now he's accused of killing his girlfriend in a car crash, and he was supposed to be behind bars. KCPQ's Brandy Cruz has a story.
35-year-old Lindsay Hill was killed in this Bellevue crash on November 11th. Hill, a mother to 2 young boys. Police say the car she was in was driven by her boyfriend, 38-year-old Robert Jackson. He fled the scene but was later arrested and charged with vehicular homicide, accused of being drunk or high when he slammed the car into a utility box at up to 70 miles per hour, leaving his girlfriend there to die. Even worse, Jackson should never have been driving the car that night in November. Instead, he should have been here, in prison, serving time for robbery and assault with a deadly weapon.
It's an unforgivable error.
The Department of Corrections announcing last week that 3,200 inmates have been accidentally released early since 2002, an error the state blames on a computer glitch.
That this problem was allowed to continue to exist for 13 years is deeply disappointing.
Robert Jackson is one of those inmates. The computer glitch led to his release on August 10th of this year, instead of on December 6th, meaning he should have been behind bars at the time he allegedly killed his girlfriend in that crash back in November. In a statement, Dan Pacholke, the head of the state's prison system, said, "Nothing I can say will bring back Miss Hill. I deeply regret that this happened. On behalf of the Department of Corrections, I apologize."
That's going to do it here for us at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.